Naruto blinked the sleep from his eyes. The first thing he saw was the white ceiling of the Leaf Village Hospital. He sat up to see a vase of flowers sitting on the nightstand beside him. "What happened to me?" Naruto asked aloud. He clutched his head as the memories flooded his mind. "Remember now, kid?" Kurama asked his Jinchuriki. Naruto nodded inwardly. "I really did go crazy." Kurama sighed. "Due to being a Jinchuriki, your first kill was bound to be different from others. Your need to protect the Hyuga girl only boosted your emotions. Luckily, you did not end up drawing on my power, nor did you hurt anyone else." Naruto sighed in relief. "So you're awake, I see." The blonde turned to the voice of Hiruzen as he entered the room. The old man smiled as he stood next to Naruto's bed. "How are you feeling?" Naruto paused, then gave a foxy grin. "Better than ever, actually." Hiruzen chuckled. It warmed his heart to know that even after the traumatic experience of a first kill, Naruto was still able to smile. But at the same time, he was worried that his experience would somehow affect him down the line. He told Naruto that he could leave after the nurse ran a few more tests to make sure he was perfectly healthy. Half an hour later, Naruto was walking down the streets towards his apartment. He noticed that the villagers seemed more fearful of him. The killer intent he released last night could be felt throughout the entire village. "There's nothing I can do about it now," Naruto thought to himself. "Chances are you will be summoned by the village council, where you'll have to find a way to not get killed." Naruto nodded at the fox's statement. If it were to happen, the third would be his only supporter, putting him at a huge disadvantage. Still, he trusted that Hiruzen could help him. After all, he was the Hokage. Naruto's apartment, evening of next day. Naruto opened his eyes to the knock on his door. He walked over and looked through the peephole to see an Anbu wearing a dog mask. He opened it and stared up at the man. "It's been a while, Kakashi," Naruto said with a slight bow. "It's good to see you too, Naruto. Have you mastered the technique I showed you last time we met?" Naruto nodded with a grin. He placed his fingers in a cross sign. The result was a puff of smoke. Once it faded away, a second Naruto stood beside the original. This was a technique created by the second Hokage, allowing the user to create solid clones by dividing their chakra. The Shadow Clone Jutsu. This jutsu also had a pleasant side effect. All the clone's experience would return to the original upon the clone's destruction. This meant that Naruto could learn techniques many times faster than an ordinary shinobi. Kakashi smiled behind his mask. He remembered back when he learned the forbidden technique at the age of 9. It had taken him 2 days to produce a single clone, and months to master it. And now Naruto surpassed him, learning the technique in a few hours at the age of 7, and mastering it in a few weeks. Kakashi stopped his musing and grew serious. "The council wishes to see you. It's about the Hyuga incident." Naruto nodded grimly. After dispelling the clone and closing his front door, he grabbed hold of the Anbu. The two vanished in a flash of speed, heading towards the Hokage Tower. Council chamber 10 minutes later. Naruto walked beside Hiruzen as they entered the council chamber. A large wooden table sat at the middle of the room. The 9 members of the council sat on either side. On the left sat the village elders as well. Danzo Shimura, Hamura Mitokado, and Koharu Utatane. On the right side sat the leaders of each of their respective clans. Hiyashi Hyuga of the Byakugan, Shibi Aburame of the Insect style, Shikaku Nara of the Shadow style, Sume Inuzuka, whose clan members partnered with dog companions in order to perform techniques. Inoichi Yamanaka of the mind transfer techniques, and Choza Akinichi of the body expansion techniques. One seat around the table was left empty since the Uchiha clan was gone and the only remaining member was Naruto's age. Hiruzen sat on the end of the table and faced Naruto, his eyes somber as he began the meeting. As you all know, we are gathered here to decide what is to happen regarding the attempted kidnapping of the Hyuga heir. Naruto was the one to save Lady Hinata, but in doing so, went into a fit of rage. It is up to us to decide if Naruto should be punished or rewarded for his actions. Hiruzen asked for the council to voice their opinions. After a moment of silence, Danzo stood. I suggest that the boy be placed under my guidance, so that he may be trained as a shinobi. Hiyashi, Inuichi, and Choza raised their hands in favor. Hamura raised his voice in protest. I am against this, Danzo. You may be a member of the council, but we all know the lengths you went to when the Foundation was still active. It would be unwise to place the boy in your hands. Hiruzen nodded, surprised that Hamura had spoken against his old comrade. Normally, she would have voted for him. Agreed. Besides, Naruto is already enrolling to the academy. Danzo cursed in his head as he sat down. No use further pressing the matter. Shikaku was the next to speak. I propose that Naruto be given a fourth of the payment an ordinary ninja would earn from this incident, but be placed under surveillance until he finishes his second year at the academy. The Inuzuka and Aburame clan heads raised their hands in agreement. The elders tried to extend the surveillance until graduation, but were overruled since Naruto did not injure any Leaf citizens. Naruto let out a sigh of relief. He had gotten off easy. The third already had Kakashi watching over him, and he was getting paid on top of that. If that is all, I will call this meeting Wait. Everyone turned to Hiyashi as he stood up from his chair. Before this meeting concludes, I wish to reward Uzumaki for his actions. Everyone in the room turned to the sound of the door opening. In walked an Anbu, leading a young girl into the chamber. Naruto's eyes widened as he recognized Hinata, wearing a simple outfit that you would see a regular civilian wear. The traditional clothes of the Hyuga were nowhere in sight. Hinata has been banished from the Hyuga clan, and so I entrust her to you, Uzumaki. The other clan heads gasped. How could Hiyashi banish his own daughter? My reasons for removing her from the clan is due to her lack of skill. She insists on fighting against our rules and conduct. Her younger sister, Lady Hanabi, was already superior in terms of strength and visual talent. She is useless to us as a clan heir. The Anbu exited the room and Hinata collapsed. Naruto caught her before she hit the ground, her eyes half closed from fatigue. He noticed that a white bandage was wrapped around her neck, hiding something that he did not know about. Hinata, are you okay? Naruto asked in a faint voice. Naruto? Where am I? Naruto raised Hinata to her feet and replied, We're in the council chamber. The Hyuga nodded as her vision cleared. Do you know what's going on, Hinata? She nodded again with a somber expression on her face. I'm being banished. Hiyashi spoke once again. Due to recent events, she has been given the Branch family's caged bird seal to prevent her Byakugan from getting into the wrong hands. An uncomfortable silence fell upon the room, as there was nothing that the council could do to change Hiyashi's mind. Some did not even want to. Who would want to save a girl who sided with a demon? Shikaku was the only one to speak, uttering, "What a pain," as he stroked his pointed black beard. Hiruzen let out a sigh and ended the council meeting. The adults began to stream out of the room, passing the two children. As they did so, Naruto unknowingly unleashed a small amount of killer intent that made them sweat. The only ones to face them were the Nara, Aburame, and Inuzuka clan heads. Sume gave them a slight bow and wished them luck. Shikaku knelt in front of them. The others might not see it yet, but I believe that the two of you will shock them with your strength. Don't give in to despair, no matter how painful it may be. Shibi nodded at the statement. Although his face was covered with a mask and black glasses, Naruto could sense that the Aburame believed in them as well. Naruto and Hinata gave a slight bow as the three left. The third came to stand beside them. As agreed, Kakashi will continue to monitor you until your second year as Academy students. But I must ask, are you kids gonna be alright on your own? I could set you up with a place at my home. Hinata turned to Naruto, who had a tear dripping from his blood-red eye. She took hold of his hand, making him look up, his eyes reverting to blue. The two looked up at Hiruzen, who awaited their answer. We'll be fine, old man. Naruto tightened his grip on Hinata's hand. We have each other. Hiruzen smiled as the two exited the council chamber to meet with Kakashi. There was not a shred of doubt in his mind that the two children would rise to become some of the strongest shinobi of their generation.